When you're a young family in today's world, time and money are the golden cows, so to speak. They're coveted pieces that seem to be always fought over, taken up, or just not there. You don't want to overcommit your financial resources because you're not quite sure what will lie around the next corner, whether it be a sport fee or a lesson fee or the transmission on your car. Especially if you're a one-income family. You may have made the decision to have one spouse stay home and the other raise your children. A job worth $1 million, one spouse stay home and raise your children, which is a job worth $1 million. But you don't see that in your bank account, do you? And you may find yourself feeling those really, really serious pains of living paycheck to paycheck. You don't want to overcommit your time resources because if you volunteer on Wednesday, you might have to turn down 3 equally noble volunteer activities. You crave for enough time to get home, eat dinner, maybe have a meaningful conversation with the kids if they're around and not running off everywhere. But the lawn needs to be mowed, the lights need to be replaced, and that laundry will not fold itself and put itself away. It just won't. I remember when my kids were really little, and I thought Sunday mornings were nearly impossible to get accomplished. It seemed everybody rolled out of bed sleepily in their footy pajamas and were just eating, and I'd be ripping the spoon out of their mouths, screaming that we had to get to church on time, come on, come on, come on, come on, and then arrive here and put on your smile, everything's great. It's hard, and this all sounds pretty dismal and stressful. If you notice, though, I haven't included God yet in this conversation. Because where there is God, there is a way for this not to be stressful and crazy. What does stewardship mean to young families? It means letting God into the nitty-gritty and often painful workings of your life. What seems mundane or not godly is exactly what He wants to be part of. I got this, says God. I got this. Let me in. I'm at church a lot. I really do love it here. It's my home. It's my home for my kids. When they were tiny, Mom's group was my sanity. The meetings were my connection to adult conversation, and getting my hands moving and helping on different projects and in different groups was just a way to get out and be productive, something other than the routine of momhood. While I felt I was being fed, in fact, I was nurturing God's work. I see amazing things happen here. People's lives are changed because of the work at Bethany Lutheran and the work in the worldwide church. Last summer, I was working at our plant and garage sale, and a man came up to Shannon Holtz and I and said, "Hey, I'm looking for God." To which Shannon Holtz replied quickly, "He's here. He's all around." The man smiled and laughed and went on to tell us that he had spent many nights in the basement with pads during the real dark days of his life. And he now had returned. He turned his life around and was now returning to see that basement again where the garage sale was being held and say thank you. Your stewardship of time is your gift to God. Find your place, help your children discover things they can do in church, and watch your investment grow for God. Stewardship is also a time when the church asks for your financial commitment. It's a little bit more tricky, right? When I was invited to be on church council years ago, I was humbled and thought I wasn't equipped. Now I realize that if you say yes, you're in. You're in a lot of different things here. But in all seriousness, when you see the real workings of church, you realize that we're all people struggling with a lot of the same issues. And the church, too, finds it hard to make ends meet financially with a guesstimate instead of a solid budget. Our family was, at that time, a give-when-you-come kind of Sunday giving time, which meant not regularly. But on council, how could I ask families to make a commitment on paper when I could not? So it was time for me to take a look at that. And interestingly, it was also a time where Walt and I were chunking away at big boulders on our way to financial peace. It was tough. Part of my Lenten journey that year was giving up control, praying, and letting God into our finances. The number one task on the budget line item was to tithe, right there in my face. Okay, God, you're in charge. I'm not going to negotiate that money away anymore. And I'm not going to say it rained money on us, but God rained opportunities on us. So many things that I could only explain as that God thing. And yet the greatest opportunity that I felt was the courage and ambition to give more and become free from being a slave to time and money, which so many of us are. My next leap is to try Simply Giving, which is our automated withdrawal system. Sometimes I get home from church, and truth be told, I realize that I've been here all morning and my offering envelope is still in my purse. Or we might have gone up to Grandma's house and we didn't get that offering envelope sent in the mail or dropped off. Every bit of a commitment means the world to God. It's a treasure. With Simply Giving for young families, that can make your lives incredibly easy and simple. So stewardship as a whole is a gesture to God saying, you got this, God, and where there is your will, amazing things will happen. God will provide for you so you can be free to give your time and your resources. Remember Pastor Paul's sermon about prayer a couple weeks ago? When you pray, you have no idea what you're getting into. It's true. Pray and let God into the nitty-gritty of your life. Write your commitment on your paper and say yes to God's work. Thank you.